La-da-da. La-da-da. Well, it says it's excellent, so... I suppose I should say welcome. Well, my programs tell me that the connection is excellent. Never done this before. Can you all, by you all I mean one person, hello Jeremy. Can you all see me? Can you all hear me? And can you hear the marvelous noises of nature and Rusty Lake ambience in the background? I hope you can. Because I will see it all in post-production, really. No, I cannot sing, but a lot of people tend to think I can. It's nice to have you, Jeremy. I mean, one person is better than no people at all. That's already a start. I'm pretty sure someone else might join us later, and hopefully you guys will see this stream later. I know it's inconvenient sometimes, right? I set up my own time and schedule because after all, we're all from different parts of the world, so oh, what is this shit? Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you. But without further ado, maybe we should get something out of the way. First and foremost, yeah, thank you so much for watching live. And thanks to all of you who'll join later, hopefully. And we'll watch this stream later. Again, thank you for supporting the channel. For those of you who haven't, what are you waiting for? We have some strange content here. Sometimes it's a good thing, you know, to spice things up a bit and dive a bit deeper into the uncanny. We'll talk about why a wee bit later. What I prepared for you guys, nothing. No, I mean it. I prepared main answers for your questions, which is cool, I guess. And I originally thought I would play a wee game here in the background and drag myself away like this so that, oh, by the way, you can see the logo I created. Neat, huh? I was thinking about playing something, maybe the same old Rusty Lake. I'm a big fan of the series. If you don't know what Rusty Lake is, let me know. I can speak about it as well. It's a disturbing game. It's a disturbing game series that are actually kind of cozy, in my not so humble opinion. I love that. But I'm not that much of a gamer in this sense, and I don't know how it would turn out. But maybe next stream will be a gaming stream, and we'll pick a topic and just, you know, talk about something specific while exploring the uncanny lore of Rusty Lake. It has quite a plethora of games there. They're all point and click and cozy, and they have marvelous soundtrack. The one you can actually hear right now in the background, it's from Rusty Lake Paradise. Yeah. Ooh. Okay. But we're here just to talk. I don't know for how long this is going to be going on. Thank you. Yeah, I will try. I tried gaming. I tried a test stream with Age of Empires actually yesterday. It was kind of cool, but it was kind of slow. So not yet, but I'll figure something out. After all, Age of Empires might not be the best choice. Rusty Lake is actually a pretty cool game of substance and complexity. The Rusty Lake Truth and I believe Razjazz, they have pretty good explanations. I'll make sure to share the links to their channels after the stream. This is a series of events that don't surround a particular, like a certain person. It surrounds different characters, and it involves different character developments, different time periods, but they're all interconnected with the idea of the samsara circle, the circle of life and rebirth. Can you hear the frogs in the background? I really like this ambience. So I'll make sure to link Raz Chaz. Raz Chaz has been quite silent recently. I don't know where did he go, but I'd really want him back. He used to do pretty cool reviews of this Rusty Lake game. So yeah. As promised, I'll get it out of the way. A lot of you actually seem to be curious about my accents. Hold on, I'll make it louder. Hopefully. I mean, we don't need like extra loud noises there, but it's supposed to be ambience, so let it be. So, about my accents, well, here's the thing. I think I mentioned this before. Yeah, I do have Scottish influence, obviously. I've talked about this in one of my previous videos. But that's because I go to Scotland yearly for purposes. I love the place. I studied in Scotland too. I have friends and familiars, and so it's just an influence, but I'm currently not there. Do you know bilingual people? You know, those who speak and think in at least 2 different languages? Well, I'm one of those, but with an extra complexity on me neck. I don't speak and think in 2 languages. I speak and think and write and formulate thoughts in 4 languages. And that actually, yeah, that might sound cool and all, and yeah, I can pride myself for that, I think. Sometimes it's very useful, but it can be a pain in the arse, really. And this is really complicating things when you try to stick to a specific accent. Yeah, thank you. The background noises, yeah. I opted for this ambience. Besides, it's kind of a preparation for maybe a future game stream. We can actually do a Rusty Lake lore. If you guys would be curious, then yeah, we can do that. And whilst we talk about the lore of the Rusty Lake and the disturbingness of it, we can go through the games. So yeah, they're gonna be fun actually. I like replaying them yearly, and they actually release new games quite consistently. And I'm yet to uncover all of the achievements, so yeah. Back to the language thing. Without being too specific or too precise, just so that you can get the idea of why is this so difficult, because for me, the switch button, it's not always there. Especially if I interact using one specific language that belongs to one branch, and I have to do this some job or something else, the CMD, using language from a completely different branch. And the 4 languages that I speak, they belong to 4 completely different branches. Besides English, that is, well, Germanic, right? Anglo-Saxon, I speak Balkan Romance, 1 Slavic, and 1 Finno-Ugric. And it is so fucked up. Sometimes it really is challenging to switch off or just switch. But at the same time, as I'm a very curious person, and I consider myself to be a linguist, there was a time where I was pretty confident I understand Italian, because the language I speak is very close to it. But then I'm quite shy, so I don't really opt to speak. I mean, I can learn, but I'm a bit shy in that regard. So I speak only the ones I'm confident in. Sometimes I tend to forget certain, how to put it. It's like riding a bicycle. Once you learned, you'll never forget, right? But if you don't ride a bicycle for a long time, sometimes you might feel a bit dizzy, you know, returning to the deed. And that kind of works with accents as well, I believe. Well, yeah, thanks. I mean, me and Jeremy, we hang out currently. That's just the two of us, but I'm pretty sure it should be, you know, I promised a live stream. There you have it. And I'm glad everything seems to be working just fine. I'm not going to cut out anything, hopefully, unless something happens. Hopefully not. I'm here in my cozy wee studio, and should be good. So I'm glad. I don't know. What do you want to hear? The thing is, it's how to say. Besides speaking those on a native level, for one reason or another, either I was very curious from a very young age and I was taught the language just because, or I was brought up in certain circumstances, or I traveled for a long time somewhere. They're all variable circumstances, but the end result is the same. They're all on a native level, and they are kind of bothering me. But I'm not complaining. It can be cool indeed and useful at times. But what's with the accent, right? For someone who studied in Oxford, I did study in St. John's College in Oxford, and later in Scotland as well. So that's where I obviously picked up the Scottish and the R. But for someone who travels to Britain so many times yearly, and for someone who studied in Oxford, lived in Liverpool is, holy shit, that is some accent, you guys. I never picked up on it. Never. But they're cool. Just difficult. For someone who studied in Britain, I mean, where is your Queen's English? It is still there. If I purposefully collect myself, I can push the switch button and be done with it. But it doesn't feel as chill, right? It feels a bit academic, which is technically what it was for me. So, yes. Now, I hope I got it out of the way. If you want something specific, well, let me know, I guess. I just don't feel it's that necessary. Besides, as for my location, some of you asked that as well. I'm currently in Europe, specifically Northeast, because I'm needed here right now. I have family and friends all over the continent. I'm where I'm needed to be at the present moment. And that's that. I mean, Europe is in general right now kind of a big trash bin where, I shouldn't be saying that, especially during a live stream, but I didn't mean to offend anyone. You know what I mean. But friends are friends and family, and we should stick together as much as possible. Can't believe I'm talking about such sentimental and important things when this is a channel for the disturbing. But sometimes you have to speak about such things. Right. As for accents, something came to my mind. For example, I can understand Australian accent very well. I have a history with it, but I can never speak it. I can never imitate Australian English. Or Irish English, actually, albeit Irish and Scottish are kind of similar, but that's just to the ear. When you focus, then you can feel the significant difference between the two. I'm not just saying that not to offend any Irish or Scottish out there. I love you both. I will never forget how a trip to Ireland saved me from deep depression. So you guys have good whiskey too. I'm not an alcoholic, and I'm not promoting that. Almost. Don't do drugs, kids, unless you're cool like me. I'm gonna have to cut that out. But I cannot. If you're watching, you're watching. Thank you. Louisiana. Oh, yeah, actually, my closest connection to Louisiana was through Resident Evil games, specifically the Seventh Resident. If you know, you know. They have Louisiana content, and their accent is, "Oh boy, Billy, son of a bitch, I love it." Like I cannot imitate that, but that was cool. The Baker family and yeah. Again, if you know, you know. If you don't, take a look. I mean, I love myself some Resident Evil games. I like to watch them rather than play them because I shit myself. I'm better at point and click games than I am with these sorts of good quality action things. So yeah, yeah. I mean, I like myself some redneck accent. It's cool. It sounds intimidating. But what's equally intimidating is this calm and collected British accent. You know, think Benedict Cumberbatch. Think, I don't know, think Meryl Streep. If those can be very intimidating, or any Scandinavian accent. For Christ's sakes, those people know how to speak their English in a way that will fuck you up. I'm really envious. I am close here. I'm close. After all, Finno-Ugric accent has nothing to do with Scandinavia, by the way, but location-wise, we're close. I'm from Tennessee. We have plenty of red. Well, you're having fun then. Damn, son! I'm not offending anyone, I hope. I believe, with jokes, let's establish this. With jokes, I am a believer of this scheme. Either everyone is allowed to make fun of everyone in a rather positive way, and if we are, you know, getting overboard, then we tell each other, but either everyone can make fun of everyone, or nobody makes fun of nobody. That's it. So either this or that, and I choose the first option. It's all shits and giggles. I'm not here to offend people. Damn, son! So anyway, I hope we're done with the language thing. I hope I more or less satisfied your curiosity. Maybe when we hit 300 subscribers, I'll get deeper into that matter, but just so you know what the fuck is going on with this accent switch and why do I sound bizarre, you can't really put your finger on it, like what the accent actually is. There's kind of a bit of an influence of this, a bit of that. Strange. Well, that's because there's 4 languages constantly in my head and I use them daily. Sometimes I use one more than another, but yeah, that's difficult when you kind of have 4 mother tongues, but at the same time you kind of have none because you're forced to interact in all of them and you kind of tend to forget what you are. But maybe that's a good thing, you know, when you think of yourself. I like to think of people as, you know, there's no, like, there are ethnicities, right? But what if some of us, most of us actually, are a mixture of ethnicities, cultures, languages, accents? It's kind of this, it's this cocktail, and that's cool. In my case, sometimes I think it's a Molotov cocktail, but sweet Jesus. Okay. Thank you. Let's continue. If you don't have any specific questions, if you have any specific questions, I see we have 2 viewers. I mean, that's nice. Somebody joined in, I suppose. So if you have something to ask about the topics that we, you know, discussed prior, then ask away. But I'm gonna just go through them, and in the meantime, I'll focus on your questions if you have any. I've noticed that the majority of you guys wanted to know about my book. That's very flattering. I might as well start feeling like Stephen King here. Stephen King wrote, like, how many books? 20? 200? 2000? I don't care. I wrote 1. So, yeah, let's switch to this subject of Misanthropically Inclined. You guys wanted to know more about it? Feel free to ask away in the comment section, in the live chat. If your question will be missed, I mean, if you're not watching the live stream, then ask in the comment section. I'll go through it and you'll get your answers in some other video maybe, if you won't get them now. So, my creation, yes, you can find it on Amazon. It's this, I love to smell books, don't you? I mean, if you're a reader, then you know what I mean by smelling books. So, yeah, don't do drugs, kids, unless you're cool like me. I don't mean it. I'm full of sarcasm. I recently broke my toe, so I was a bit out of it. I was too out of it to get into it. By it, I mean the live stream and the channel and everything else in my life. So who knew that breaking such a small thing could cause such a chaos? But it just, you know, seems like when something small such as this happens, it kind of seems like a lot of other shit wants to happen at the same time, and you go bonkers with that. Don't do drugs, kids, only certain ones though. Yeah, those that are prescribed, I mean, you kind of have to. So, Misanthropically Inclined, I'm gonna start babbling about it, and feel free to stop me at any moment. Now, why did I call it that? Maybe let's start with the title. Actually, I'm an idiot. I didn't even tell you guys my name. I mean, I go by the pen name. I go by the name Ro. That's on the book. I use it. Feel free to use it. And yeah. So why did I name it Misanthropically Inclined? Well, because that is what I am. I am misanthropically inclined. And to me, that means that... how long did it take you to write? Good. Okay. To write, do you mean like to write this book in particular, or to start writing at all? How long did it take me to realize that I want to do it? Yeah, I go by Ro. It's easy, sharp, and I really go by it. I use it all the time. I mean, on social media, on the internet, and in the world of literature. And for now, I think that's sufficient enough. Because, you know, Check That Book it's just a channel, and it's kind of a slogan, you know, check that book. I was on Sicily at the time, and I was pondering and wondering what to call the channel, because this is what I wanted to do. But later about that. Misanthropically Inclined, I am, because I can't call myself downright misanthrope. I cannot. That book in its entirety, it took me, because it's a poetry collection, it took me roughly 8 years, I think, to collect this poetry that's in here. And it took me 1 full year to fully put it down in the order that I wanted it to be, you know, and with the illustrations and everything. It took me a year to put it together. But the poetry throughout the novel, I used to write a novel too, but it was a failed experiment. Yeah, through the poetry that you find here, and the thoughts and the things, yeah, they're gathered throughout the span of roughly 8 years. So quite a variable piece of work, actually. Sometimes I myself get a bit surprised even when I read certain lines, but I cannot deny them because they were a part of who I was and who I still am to a degree. I'm not letting this go. I'm not letting this rot somewhere just because it is no longer me. No, it is, which is why I chose them. These are the chosen works. The others I found either not so, not good enough, mainly because I'm very self-critical, plus I don't, you know, feel the rhyme anymore, and I'm this sort of a poet who needs their works to rhyme. I find harmony in rhyming, which is originally what poetry was supposed to be anyways. Yeah, page count. Jeremy asks here about how did I know it was finished. I knew it because, first of all, I wanted to get over to 100 pages at least. Yes, indeed. I wanted it to be a bit, thicker than my first novel, my novelette actually. It's called The Barber, and it's poorly written. I'm not proud of it, and it was quite short. The story is very Wattpadish, if you know what I mean, but we all try and fail. But I've been writing poetry for a long time, and I decided, hey, I want a nice, neat, hardback book that has the collection of my poetry. I want to be able to cradle it in my arms and feel satisfied about it. My computer needs food. For some reason, I forgot about it. Nah, there we have it. Uh-huh. Thank you. The thing is, I already have a novelette that I've written, the one I've just mentioned, but since I consider it a failed experiment, I'm currently working on a new one. Besides, at a certain point, I guess, if you're an author or a musical composer or an artist, whatever you are, if you create something, I believe that we all get this moment in our lives when we realize actually that we no longer want to do things the way we used to do, and we want to be better, not for someone or for, sales purposes. That would be good, of course, but we want to do better for ourselves, for our own sake. And I'll tell you a sneak peek when I'll have actually something to tell. At the moment, I'm currently on like 50th page. That's not much, but it's going to be, I think I mentioned this, it is going to be an action romance / disturbing psychological, a combination of genres that I admire very much. I love when we get this sort of combinations, because those are the emotional swings that I like in a book. I don't know if I mentioned this in the the previous tag video, that what makes a good book. And I think I mentioned that I like when it arouses an emotion. And the more variable they are, the better, because sometimes I think that people seem to forget that expressing and experiencing emotions is important to our psyche first and foremost. So thank you. Yes, 50 pages is a good start. I'm aware. And I pride myself in it, but at the same time I feel like I'm such a lazy fuck. We all been there, I believe. The level of disturbingness in this one, well, I'll be honest with you, John Nathan inspired me a lot, and while you'll be reading this, it will go smoothly, but then suddenly you'll get like a hit in the face, or like a splash of cold water in your face with a certain turn of phrase or a certain reveal. And that's something I'm aiming at. I'm aiming at like a wee bit of John Nathan there, if we speak of, contemporary disturbing literature. Yes, that's the kind of level of disturbingness, but that's not going to be what the book will be composed of. I'm actually aiming at touching certain important subjects, such as bullying at schools in particular, not only by your peers, but also by the teachers. Subjects of justice and revenge. Yeah, all the important things that humanity seems to forget. What is good and what is evil, and that is very subjective. And that is interesting to explore, psychologically at least. So, yeah, back to the misanthropically inclined. Why cannot I call myself a misanthrope, a downright misanthrope? Well, that's mainly because I like people. but I like them in short bursts. Like right now, talking to you online, it's cool. It's awesome. I don't even know you guys, but I'm glad you're here. I can feel this connection, albeit I'm looking at the camera and occasionally at myself so that I know that I still look normal and that nothing is happening in the background. No ghosts, no shit. So I like people, but in short bursts. And with years, I realized that the reason for me not liking people entirely, you know, is because I have what you might call a very low tolerance level for stupidity and stupid bullshit. And I'm sorry, but the majority of people seem to offer just that, and I'm not interested to invest my time in that mundane, boring shit nobody is interested in, unless they're the closest ones to you, which is why in the endings of all of my videos, if you noticed, I usually say take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Why? Because, well, if you don't take care of yourself, then who will? Yeah, your loved ones might, but in order for them to, you have to take care of them in return. Cherish those who are closer to you, because they're close for a reason. You know, unconditional love still exists, and I believe in that. People in small doses is the key to success. Yes, Jeremy, fuck's sakes. I believe we should, you know, filter this, all of this, energy that comes from people that might not even care, right? They might not aim to insult you or do something that, you know, you don't like or whatever, or that affects you in a way. Yeah, you should just filter this. If something is not worth your time, if you don't like something, yeah, sure, walk away. Sometimes the only answer to an issue is walking away. I don't think it's a weakness. It's like in high school. I remember I walked away from the problem in order to solve the problem. I just quit high school. And I still got to college, fancy that. But that's just because I like to study. I just don't like the atmosphere in schools in general. And I'm always advocating for home studies, colleges. You know, the more variations you have, the better. It is sad that we have to pay so much for them, but it's capitalism, baby. There's no can do. So, misanthropically inclined. Inclined because not entirely. Still do like people. After all, I can't live outside of the community. I can't live without people, certain people. It can start with your family and the closest of your friends. And I believe that friends are the family you choose for yourself. So there's that. And the society, you know, this social bubble that you create for yourself, much like I am attempting with this channel, to gather like-minded people who would be interested in the uncanny and the disturbing and all of that shit. Speaking of which, yes, I need to finish talking about my book in order to start with the good stuff. You know, I have something to share. I'm currently reading The Abuse of Ashley Collins, and God have mercy. Yeah, it's capitalism, baby. No can do. So, yeah, poetry and prose. I think I want to share this story with you. Maybe some of you will be curious. It's been 15 minutes, right? Holy shit. Feels like it's been forever. Anyways. When I was in high school, that's just before I quit, I remember I had this... You do get onto the good stuff. Thanks, Jeremy. I'm glad you feel the same way. That means that we're in the same boat, and feel free to express your opinions in the comment section later as well. I mean, whatever. It's so good to have like-minded people around. Again, we might not agree on everything, but if the vibe is the same, then that's cool. I believe that's awesome. So, The high school shit. High school and shit, they go hand in hand for me. I'm not gonna share the entirety of my high school years because they sucked. My high school was in a post-Soviet Union country, and yeah, that's where the Finno-Ugric language comes in. It sucked. It wasn't fun. There's nothing good to remember besides the teachers who came from abroad. For some reason, those boosted my interest, but later it turned out that they're equally as much of a fucker as any other teacher I had. Before I reached the age of reason and before I got to college, I didn't really enjoy being educated in the walls of a school. So, but I'm going to choose words accurately now, and yeah, so that there will be no issues. Ironically, my path with poetry began in high school. I had a classmate who wrote poetry in this Finno-Ugric language, by the way, and I always admired her for it. She participated in events, and she was sometimes reading out loud and getting good grades for it. Like, wow, she had this talent. We were all like 15 or 14 years old at the time, and I always admired her for it. Secretly, I've been doing the same for a long time, but I always thought of myself as trash in this regard. I think we've all been there, especially if you're an artistic person. So I always admired her. I didn't envy her really, but I did admire her, because envy is something else. Envy is when you covet something that someone else has. I was just admiring her, completely calmly accepting the fact that I'm trash and abandoning the idea of writing in general. But then one day I actually rediscovered William Shakespeare. And the turns of phrases and the Shakespearean language that nobody seems to get. I mean, at the time, nobody seemed to get in my surroundings. I was so fascinated that I began trying my hand in a different mannerism. One of my first lines were, here comes the memory lane, from Shakespeare to Doyle, from Wordsworth to Poe, to be as gifted as them, I'd give up my soul. A proposition was made to strike up a deal, but sadly enough, Lucifer didn't appear. You see, and that's when it came to me that, yeah, I want to do this. Not for someone, not for any sake, for my sake. Because I believe there's this category of people who need to express themselves. Otherwise, they're just going to wither away. And they do. And that's sad. I know such people. That classmate of mine who wrote pretty amazing poetry in a pretty rare language, I don't know what happened to her. Never seen her. I've never heard anything about her. That's just... yeah. That was cool. Thank you. I don't remember all of it by heart. I don't even remember all of these by heart. But some of them I do. Some of them are my favorites. Some of them were written in weird circumstances, like on my knee in an airport, like there, like sitting and waiting for hours. And, you know, I use my time productively. At least I try to. Very real. Well, I am being real and quite vulnerable right now. And I see that there's 5 people watching. You're welcome to join the chat. Ask your questions, whatever you want. Just say hi. I'll boost a lot of confidence and whatnot. But let's move on. So that's where it started. And writing poetry during a math class, for example, was an escape for me. I was practicing escapism back there already, and I started writing small stories because I had poor teachers, plus I didn't have inclination to certain subjects. Maybe with some good quality teaching and decent approach, maybe things would have been different, but I already didn't have that inclination. And when you have poor surroundings, you know, loud, noisy classmates who don't respect the teacher, and because the teacher doesn't respect them, etc., who don't respect you, the teacher who is some frigid old bitch who just teaches because she gets her salary and that's it. In my not so humble opinion, all of the teachers all over the world, before starting a teaching job, they need a fucking psychological counseling and testing so that, you know, we can establish whether they should be allowed to work with children at all. And that, my friends, is disturbing that we don't have it. We're slowly getting into the disturbing aspect of our channel. Did you find yourself editing poems after you decided what order you wanted them in? Or were they set in stone once they made the book? You see, yeah, some of them were set in stone from the very beginning. Some of them are quite old, several years old. Some of them are from my high school years, and mostly the bitter ones. But some of them needed extra polishing. At first I thought I need to choose my words very carefully, but let me read you an intro so that you know where's this gonna go. I'll read you a couple of things. Yeah. Where is the part where I tell people to go fuck themselves? Yeah. The poems are categorized. Enjoy, have a laugh, have a good cry, or maybe even provoke your own mind. Meanwhile, I'll keep on writing, if not in the same way I used to. Well, where's the moment? Yeah, I think I finished with it. Yeah, no refunds. Yeah. Thank you for reading. Have a pleasant and maybe just a meaningful life. This shit is copyrighted, and if you steal my work, I will find you and make you sorry. Well, I actually mean it. So yeah, if there will be more questions about the book, I'll answer them throughout the stream. But for now, yeah, my path as an author started in high school under pressure and as a form of escapism. That's it. And later I just polished my style, I guess, by reading a lot of Shakespeare and Pushkin, surprisingly. Pushkin is really, even in translation, Pushkin's verses are the most romantic and beautiful, to me at least, while Shakespeare is more of this dramatic and stubborn. That's how I would describe Shakespeare's verse. That's how I feel. I feel him as this stubborn, dramatic, melodramatic at times, but dramatic nonetheless. And of course, Shakespearean language is difficult. Sometimes I myself need to stop and consult a goddamn dictionary. There's a specific dictionary for Shakespearean words, which I believe is a cool thing and should be taught at schools. But I didn't know anything about this until college. So I believe in self-education firmly, and I still learn. I learn every day. So we are slowly entering this, yeah, disturbing stuff. That's what we are here for. I'll still answer any other questions, but I hope I got the main moments covered. What's with the music? We have water sounds. That's nice. What do you guys like? Feel free to... I can read your comments here. Besides Jeremy, there's no one else. Thank you, Jeremy, so much. But yeah, what is your... like, I would be curious to know my audience. I mean, there's over 200 subscribers and we have 6 views. Thank you very much. But still, what is your favorite genre of literature? Besides disturbing, if you are into the disturbing at all. Some of you might be here for different reasons entirely. And I just realized we've been live for 45 minutes. That's a big deal. But we've talked about the most important things, the ones I promised to talk about. While you're at it, disturbing literature in its core and disturbing cinema in its core. Well, since I'm not playing any games in the background, I'm just sitting here and talking to you. I hope it's going to be a quicker monologue. Yeah, I believe. Or a dialogue. Depends. No. Don't chat. I mean, it's cool. It's cool to have at least something in the chat, and those are important questions. Those are interesting subjects that I was kind of prepared for, and I'm glad that it is interesting to you guys. So you can go on. I mean, when I meant like me and Jeremy hang out here while I see that there's at least 6 other people watching, I encourage others to join in as well. It's cool. It's safe. You're not going to be judged. I mean, unless you're going to be talking about... yeah. In my previous video, I mentioned that we do not really talk about politics and sex here. That's not necessary. That's not what we are here for. These are very private subjects and completely out of this safe space of uncanny and interesting and disturbing that we created. So, yeah. Don't shut up. Speak up. I mean, feel free. But I mentioned that I am currently in the process of reading The Abuse of Ashley Collins. Yeah, I don't understand, you guys. What the fuck? What the actual fuck is up with this book? I am halfway through, and I have weird feelings about this. It's John Nathan, so it's your typical John Nathan. I still think The Groomer is worse. Does that say a lot of bad things about me? No, currently it's very close to The Groomer in my, scale of the disturbing when it comes to literature, but what the fuck? What is this? This is the composition of genres that I was talking about earlier. See, I've been speaking a lot in different languages and I get fucked up. This is the combination. John Nathan, there's one genre that he has, right? It's the disturbing. It's quite splatterpunkish. But at the same time, he raises questions that are so important, but are overlooked. And yet, I noticed that when something messed up happens, such as this case, the abuse of Ashley Collins, right? I'm yet to finish the book, so don't spoil it for me if you have finished it. But if something like this happens, cases like Sylvia Likens come to mind, Junko Furuta, yeah, those come to. If you don't know, do your research later, but viewer and reader discretion advised. Those are real life cases. I really don't want to talk about them. They're just your horrific cases of abuse. Or, The Child Called It, the book. Like, when something like this happens and it's all over the news, all over the papers, all over YouTube, everything loves to talk about it, but nobody raises the question of, bitch, how do I prevent this from ever happening again? What can I, as a member of community, do to prevent this? Some disturbing authors claim that they write the disturbing in order to raise awareness. I can kind of see where that comes from, but it's... Why am I using disturbing language in my upcoming novel? Kind of with the same purpose. Like I said, I'll be raising questions of bullying and abuse, substance abuse as well, a lot of stuff. But to me, it will be more like, again, like a splash of cold water in the face. Wake up, it's real. And in real life, we use offensive language quite often. And that's understandable. And that's normal even. We shouldn't like normalize it being your, a part of you, like in your everyday life. Of course, it's, after all, it is called an offensive language for a reason. But when you strike it in there in your writing, or like during a live stream, if you accidentally go holy fucking monkey shit, that is disturbing. That was raw emotion. And yeah, it might have come across as something funny even. That's okay. It's life, you guys. There's nothing to be ashamed of, unless you use this language all the time, which raises questions. But offensive language can sometimes either provoke you or bring you back to your senses. That's what I believe in. And I'm not just talking about swear words. I'm talking about offensive descriptions. Yeah, John Nathan is a master of that stuff. So yeah, with the abuse of Ashley Collins, it's one of those cases where I don't understand. I kind of do, but I kind of don't, because again, it's just one of those cases. She's just another number, another name. Again, I'm yet to see the ending of the book. I'm yet to read it, so maybe I'm wrong. But so far, it just seems like another horrifically perverted case of abuse. And what the fuck is up with those parents? But it's horrifying because things like this do happen quite often than not, and there's not much you can do about specific cases. But to me, they bring you back to your senses. They raise awareness in a way that, well, for me, it makes me extra cautious. Again, I always double check stuff. I'm constantly worried. I make sure that, my closest ones are safe, that I'm safe, because you never know. And the world is fucked up. Arguably, this idea of creating disturbing content, has a psychological impact on people. It does. It might be very upsetting, especially to those who have never encountered this or turn a blind eye on it. But the thing is, sometimes we need to read and see something disturbing in order to wake the fuck up. And maybe there will be a day, it's in my utopian world, that we will never have any disturbing content because we won't need it. Still have to find time to have fun. Yes, Jeremy, indeed. Indeed. We need to have fun, which is why I cover those books and movies with a dash of humor, a dash of irony. But some of them do have this impact, the strong impact on you when it takes days or weeks to recover and think things through. There are books I'll most likely never read again for various reasons, like the most horrific splatterpunk out there, or real life cases. Again, reading The Girl Next Door was difficult for me because I knew that the story is real. It's based on real events and follows them pretty closely. Again, the Sylvia Likens case. I get it. I get it why a lot of people don't want to read such stuff and they don't want to see such stuff. Thank you. Yes, I try my best, because if you don't approach this subject matter kind of, a bit lightheartedly, a bit, on the easier side, if you don't approach it like that, it's going to mess up your head and indeed turn you anxious and bothered, and not in a good way. Yeah, I dive right back in because that's what we're here for. I am currently also preparing the material for my disturbing essay, which is kind of what we talk about now is kind of a preparation for it, so that you would understand what it's going to be about. And I'm gladly going to answer more of your guys' questions on the matter, maybe even in the essay. Maybe they will go into the essay, so why not? I'm going to be using lots of pictures, some movie clips. We have 7 views. Hey, hello, whoever you are, welcome. Yes, feel free to join the chat. Ask away. I've been talking already about my accent. For those of you who are new here, yes, I have weird accents because I speak four languages natively, and they're all concocted in my head, and that's bothersome. Details in the beginning of the stream. I've spoken already about Misanthropically Inclined. Links are in the description already. Yes, my path as an author started under pressure. But now we are talking about the disturbing in its core, and not just the books. The books, they arouse, not in that way, but they arouse your imagination, right? And arguably that can be even more disturbing than when you watch a disturbing movie. Again, to each their own. To me, they both work just fine. Depends on the film production, especially if it's an adaptation. If you've seen my top 10 movies, disturbing movies based on a disturbing book, then you know what I'm talking about. As for the disturbing cinema, I quickly want to note that this channel was originally supposed to be me talking about disturbing movies, but since I have favorite YouTubers who do excellent job already, and I just cannot compare to that. Besides, I've studied creative industries only a wee bit, so that I'm not that deep into it. I cannot be very fluent speaking about this subject. I am an admirer, yeah, sure, but I feel I'm a bit more entitled to speak about literature than films, purely because of the direction my life has taken me to. And but I still have to mention movies because it's such a big interest of mine, specifically horror, and specifically the subgenre that is disturbing cinema. This has been such a big deal all over the internet and YouTube in recent decades. I can see why. Like I said, I understand people who don't watch horror. No, in my surroundings, in my wee circle of family and friends, nobody watches horror. I am the odd one out as usual, and nobody watches it, and nobody attempts to even understand why is. I'm not going to say why is it necessary. That's a bit wrong way to say it. Sometimes it's necessary though. But why do others watch it? They're respectful of the fact that I watch it and, well, now create written content into that direction. But they don't attempt to understand. That's okay though. I know the backgrounds of those people, and we have enough horrors in modern world, in real life. We have enough anxiety, enough depression, enough troubles. I get it. I guess I'm just that sort of person who, again, coming back to my methods of escapism, maybe I escape there. I see that shit is fucked up. I get back here into the real world, and I go, whew, this is actually not that bad. My life is not that bad. It can be so much worse. Trust you me. And maybe, my theory is that disturbing movies, art, books, whatever, it's consumed by people, besides psychopaths, of course, by people who need a wake-up call and appreciate what they have a bit more, you know. Sometimes it's necessary, not just an adrenaline rush, but the appreciation. I'm not saying I'm not being appreciative, I am. It just turned into a hobby of sorts. I'm just trying to deliver that message, which is why on my channel I never do like these deeper dives, or I don't even call my short videos on the books reviews. I try to avoid reviewing. I try introducing rather than reviewing. So if a certain book, a certain title sparks your interest, then it means that perhaps maybe, just maybe, you need to read it. You need to try it for one reason or another. Maybe you just need this adrenaline rush. Maybe you need a push, or maybe you are like me. You are depressed, but you need to see someone else have it worse. And that is fucked up. But that's how it works, I suppose. What do you think about it? It's bizarre how I talk for such a long time and I only had one glass of water. I usually drink a lot. I wonder if you can hear the piano in the background. This Rusty Lake ambience is really nice. So, a nice moment of silence and background ambience. I was contemplating whether to, share some ideas on the well-known literature, but that's boring. We're still in this vacuum of the disturbing air, and I just want to make it clear that it doesn't always have to be that way. Like in my channel description, I mentioned that yes, we mainly talk about that, but we can also talk about other things. It's fine. After all, I have a plethora of reels that involve me reciting various poetry in various weird places. So it's been an hour, you guys. I'm not sure that we need to continue. I mean, it's been a long ass stream actually. I can talk more, but I believe I have the most important things covered for now, without extra detail, because first of all, a bit of an intrigue is fun, right? Besides, I can see that we have 7 views and currently only 2 people online watching. That's fine. That's actually great, because I understand that it was quite a short notice, albeit I did warn you guys that the stream will be this week, but this week is so subjective. Like when? Tomorrow? Or, on Sunday? Like, what the fuck? So I'd like to, I hope I covered the most important subjects, at least on a surface level, so that to satisfy your curiosity. You're welcome to ask questions after the stream. I'll make sure to have them answered one way or another. And yes, I suppose we should wrap this up for now, perhaps. And yeah, for a first stream, I mean, 1 hour is more than enough. Besides, I'm just sitting here talking to you. Albeit it's nice. It's really nice. So yes, I believe in the theory that people consume disturbing content for various reasons, but the most prominent ones would be thrill-seeking, because sometimes we need this rush of emotions, and completely opposite, depression. I'm not sure whether it's okay to talk about depression on YouTube, because they might come at me because I use unpleasant words, but I'm being real. And yeah, there's also the category of psychopathic people, but I hope we're not one of those. Cheers. So yes, I'm going to wrap this up for now. Stay tuned for upcoming disturbing fairy tale origins video, and I'm not gonna promise when exactly, but the essay on the disturbing is in the making. It will take a wee bit of time because I want it to be good, and if you have any questions, I might answer them in the essay. Thank you. Thanks, Jeremy. It was nice having you here in the chat also. Thank you. Yeah, longer notice should bring more people. I know. It was a first time. I do apologize. It was maybe if I was playing a game in the background, I would, sit here longer, but I just feel like we need to wrap this up for now, so that next time will be better. Much like with my book, First one was okay, but next one will be better. And it was. So I'm glad you're watching. I'm glad if you are watching this later. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here, either right now live or later. If you like disturbing content, as usual, make sure to subscribe. And not just disturbing, like I mentioned, we can talk about things. I'm yet to share my ideas on Dostoevsky here. That motherfucker is amazing. Quite sad, but amazing. His philosophy is, yeah. But that's an interesting dive. Maybe for another time, though. So, yes, make sure to give this video also a boost in the form of an erect thumb. I don't know why I keep saying it, but it kind of stuck with me. I have weird ideas. Imaginations be running wild, them bitches be running wild. Thank you so much for your time, for your questions, for the chat. Cheers. Have a good one.